had I been IPO'd, I would be in your top 5 right now.
Exactly.
Top 5% right now. So like, what's up, guys?
You can't hold me back, rise up to the top.
Hi listeners, welcome to Ascent, the podcast spotlighting newcomers and trailblazers, the fastest rising companies redefining industries across Asia.
We're Linda and Pan, two friends obsessed with tech and new businesses based in Asia. Every day we witness incredible stories of growth and innovation here, stories that inspire us, surprise us, and deserve to be heard.
In our first season, we're unpacking Asia's most exciting emerging trends, from tech disruptors to all sorts of innovative startups in Asia. This is Ascent. Let's explore the future, one story at a time. Why did we select this topic in the first place?
I forgot exactly why we selected. I think we did the ranking. But I think it was brought on my radar when the IPO announcement happened. So context, they were applying for IPO 2020, almost 5 years ago. And then finally on February 27th, 2025, there was an announcement that it was approved. They're still not on the market yet, but it's finally approved, and it's probably one of the longest IPO approvals for the Shanghai Stock Exchange.
Right. It has been
yeah,
it's been a very long time.
Yeah. What's your reason? What was
For those of you who are listening to this for the first time, actually we had already recorded a previous episode, and we were a little too ambitious on the first topic. It was electric vehicle in China, and it was way too broad. We had basically researched more than 5 companies, and finally, after the thorough exhaustion of doing research over 100 hours, we
decided not to do it.
We decided
it's too much.
Can we focus on maybe one smaller company with a very specific focus that perhaps we both know of and we both enjoy the product, and with a relatively shorter history, and voila, here we go. Insta360 became the easy target for that.
Yeah, much simpler.
Yeah,
much easier, niche market.
Much easier.
Cool.
Okay, so why don't we start with
who started this company?
Exactly.
Okay.
The CEO of the company.
Yeah. So the guy started programming when he was in his 5th grade of elementary school. And so my research got me to the story where he was playing a video game and he was really bored. He thinks that the video games is like created by other people, so he wanted to create stuff of his own. So he started like teaching himself learning. And bear in mind, he's born in 1991, so like 5th grade would have been like 2000, early 2000, right? And back then, there's not that much stuff on the internet. There's not like YouTube tutorials about programming. So he just somehow learned HTML and stuff himself and made a website. So you can kind of tell like he was that genius from as a kid. But I think more of the stories actually happened in his university years. He made the news a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Have you came across anything?
It's almost impossible to not look at what he has done during his undergrad time. And also, like, if you want to remember his name, it's a little complicated in Chinese. It's called Jing Kang if you want to remember that, but let's just shorten it for JK.
JK, right? Yeah, I think he goes by JK Liu.
JK Liu. So JK, right? He has done a series of very, as you have left in the note early on, Mark Zuckerberg oriented things.
He is like the Chinese Zuckerberg.
Feels that way,
Feels
right?
that way, yeah.
So he went to NTU University, studied software development, and by sophomore year, he has made his first app, which is a sort of a face aggregator.
Yes.
Right? So he overlaid thousands of faces from each department for boys and for girls.
Yeah.
And so that experiment went viral. That's very social media oriented, or just like popular faces from each department, like those for studying computer science versus the boys and girls look from like maybe a social science department.
But one thing about the average face of each department, do you know how he got the photos?
Well, I am not entirely sure, but if there's any source, I'm guessing that maybe he has gotten it from Rinrin.com. It's not.
He hacked the school.
Oh no.
He hacked the administrative account of the school
Oh my god.
to get the 7,000 student ID photos.
And he didn't get caught.
There's another story about how he almost got expelled from school from stealing or hacking the admin account.
Gotcha.
I think for another purpose, but he's a troublemaker. He's definitely not one of those I'm gonna attend school and listen to the teacher.
Yeah.
And the other thing I find really interesting is he made this viral himself by posting the blog and title it, "I stole over 7,000 student photos and created the average face for each department." So it feels like he wants that publicity and he created that himself.
Yeah. So one of the few engineers who've mastered both engineering, coding, and marketing at the same time.
Exactly. and this is so true with Insta360 and how they do the marketing nowadays.
Yeah. On top of that, okay, this may have been rumor, but I have collected this information from various sources that he has also made another dating app, sort of an online calling app. You can download the app, you can use the app, and so the two people's image will show on the app. Everyone is blurred out, but as you continue the conversation, the guy's photo will start to...
Oh, I remember this.
You remember
one.
this?
Yeah.
We'll start to sort of consolidate, and then you can see more. And it is completely up to the girl whether she wants to continue that conversation. And throughout this process, the girl's image stays blurred.
I love this guy.
I love this idea.
Feminist, yes. Like Tinder, take note.
Yeah. Also, on top of the troublemaker topic, you may have also came across this. So towards his later undergrad life, he reverse engineered sounds from a phone.
Yes.
And then he basically reverse engineered Zhou Hongyi, which is a very large tech company's CEO's phone number just by watching the television. And his phone number, the sound of it was played in the television.
In the TV, yeah.
In the news, and he recorded it, and he was able to, through various experiments, and I honestly don't know how difficult it is. Seems like all of the sounds pretty similar to me, but then he then called, and then he then posted.
Yeah.
Zhou Hongyi later posted that, "Oh, well, stop calling me. I appreciate that you're a very
He
smart
released
guy."
the phone number.
Yeah. He was like, "Please don't release the phone number." Oh, and then this also got Li Kai-fu's attention as well. And then Li Kai-fu posted on Weibo that, you're clearly a very talented software engineer. You may want to come work with me. And so he posted there. So yeah.
And he rejected that offer, but interestingly on how this whole phone number story. So he also, as the marketing PR person himself, wrote the blog, "How did I use dial tone to extract Shihu's chairman's phone number?" And in the blog post, he actually explained exactly how he did it. So he recorded the sound. He actually put a visual of that sound on the blog. And then he actually circled, what does it mean? What kind of hertz is it to combine the dial tone into a 9 or a 1 or 2? So he kind of explained that. And then I think out of the 11 digits, he blacked out 5 or 6 of the digits so that people don't
know the actual
number. But he gave out the other one, and he gave out the methodology, so it was really easy to replicate.
Wow.
So it's nothing, he mentioned that it's nothing super complex, right? As long as you get the recording and it's a standard kind of dial tone sound. But the fact that he
open sourced
extracted and got it out and actually called the guy. And before he called the guy, I think he searched up on the internet this phone number to make sure that it is. And I don't know back then, I guess, you can look up a phone number and it'll say it's a China mobile number and it's from Beijing. So he guessed that it's probably the right guy and he called it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he hung up because he was like, "Oh, is this Mr. Joe?" Mr. Joe's like, "I'm in a meeting, what's up?" And then he's like, "Oh, wrong number, sorry."
Prank. Just wanted to...
just a very interesting person, right? In your third year of university. And he saw and I don't know if this is accurate, but he saw the TV show where the dial tone was heard during his last day as an intern in Tencent, where he's like, "Well, I got nothing else to do other than watching a Youku video."
He got bored.
Yeah, he got bored.
Oh boy.
And then he extracted this out and he's like, I gotta do something.
Wow,
Yeah.
jeez. And later, did we know that a bored engineer created a great company?
Of course. Yeah, isn't that the story of a lot of companies these days?
For a lot of Silicon Valley
Yeah.
starters.
So I think there's like at least 10 of these semi-startup-y things he did while he was in university.
Ooh, you're gonna love this. This is the one that I love the most. But besides the deciphering the cell phone number, he kind of started a ad company. And the ad company that he started is called AdX.
Oh no, what?
Yeah. But hear it out. It's not the ad platform that we're using these days.
Okay.
But it was early 2000. Wait,
I was like, did Google buy him out? No, not this one. Okay.
And so he loves watching videos. And he loves watching like streaming services in general. And so one day he just had an idea. What if when you're streaming the video, ad can be placed within the videos and then you have like in-stream ads? Doesn't it sound very familiar? Yeah. And then this predates YouTube advertisement. This absolutely predates that. So when he was in college, which is like maybe 2010-ish, 2012, he had already came up with this idea and started a company, started programming for it, and it is an automated like ad slotting system that puts advertisement in the streaming videos. And the company itself is called AdX. And this is just so ahead of its time. This is the product that we're selling these days,
Yeah.
and he had that idea some 15, 20 years ago.
This is when video streaming was kind of a thing, but not like ads were definitely not really on it. Okay.
Not at all. Because there's not
Smart.
enough live stream or content that's going on. There first has to be enough, I guess the penetration goes on, and then you sort of commercialize all of the streaming.
Was it too early so that he ended up not continuing with this
Exactly.
idea? Okay.
Exactly. So he had thought of the idea, which is a brilliant idea, but it was just a little too early for the market at that time. Yeah. So he discontinued.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's bored again. He started watching he was actually on YouTube and he saw a panel video on YouTube, right? Like
Yeah,
like,
there's some Australian panel YouTube video.
right.
And he was inspired to, well, I think two takeaway from that. Like he was quite inspired by how it looks because that's kind of new. And then he somehow figured that the hardware cost is really high, so there's an opportunity if we develop that in China somehow.
Yeah, which is the second question I'm about to ask you, which is, JK sounds like someone who has a lot of experience in software development. That's what he studied.
Yes.
Then why did he start a hardware company?
Yeah, no idea. But so here's my guess.
Yeah.
It was a bit of luck. Obviously that video inspired him. But he was like kind of a serial entrepreneur at that time, right? So he's just going through projects over projects over projects. And somehow this one worked. But the ones he worked on before, there are software-only non-hardware projects. Those just never kicked off, right? So I think before he started the kind of the precursor of Insta360, he was doing live streaming, right? He was doing university class live streaming and some events. And so he got into the live streaming industry and he probably played around with cameras, but there's also a lot of software involved. That didn't work out, which is why he kind of pivoted to this one. This one worked out, and that's why he went into hardware. But one of the things I think is an advantage for someone of his background is that even with a hardware product as your main product, the software component is still what makes Insta360 special. Because, so in my personal experience, I came across their product first in 2022. And I was a GoPro user. I was a GoPro Max user.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I mean, but I didn't know.
Okay, hold on. And your first product is GoPro Max?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you can go on.
And it was the Insta360 equivalent, right?
It is the fisheye, the 360-degree camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the story is I went snowboarding with someone else, and one of us had a GoPro and the other one had an Insta360,
Ooh,
and that's the first time I saw it.
Okay.
And then we were exporting the videos, and it took me 3 hours to do the export, the cut, the stitch, the everything, and you have to get it into a format that is like landscape kind of video, going from the 360 video. So I had to like get the keyframes and everything, and then everything took. I mean, I wasn't experienced, so everything took me 3 hours to export a very non-edited video.
Oh boy!
Right, the other guy took like 10 minutes. Yeah, it's like everything's automated. Let me auto cut for you. Oh, what do you like? Does it look good? Right. And I think that I attribute my surprise element to how good the editing is, because GoPro also does auto editing. I think his software background actually has something to do with how good that editing element is. And that was how I was sold. Right. Basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was a digression from your original.
No, but it's a great experience. I think most of the people who has heard of Insta360 probably is also a GoPro or some sort of like sports fan or action camera kind of fan.
Yeah.
But think about this: by the time that he had wanted to start at Insta360, none of his previous ventures were really that successful. Like, he did something.
Nothing to sustain him to the next level or get funding, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, by that point, maybe there is free-flowing money in the market, but he hasn't really done anything that can really lock him down on the pathway of, oh, you're going to make this.
Right.
Right? So if anyone wants to fund him, that seems pretty risky at that point. Right? But some people still decided to fund him. He was lucky enough that by the end of his undergrad and also right after he graduated, he had participated in a lot of like entrepreneur camps. And he is very lucky to have met one of his early investors, also probably later a mentor and someone who means so much for Insta360's entire growth. And that guy is called Li Feng from IDG. So IDG actually funded the first $1 million for Insta360. And the guy, Feng, had met him in a camp and had saw him like with great execution power and has a lot of like software skills and decided to fund him. But when he was sort of making the prototype for the 360 camera, he was basically carrying a ball-shaped camera. It's like a Pokemon Go ball kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw the prototype.
Yeah. It's so...
It's yellow.
It is like... It's so raw, right? It's like everything all stitched together, but like in a very engineering, there's a lot of glue. And
it's a prototype.
It's a prototype. Yeah. And it falls apart on the train that is heading on the way to the investor. And like on its way, it falls apart, and then you have to stitch it back together again, and it passes. But like there was a video of him recollecting that memory, saying that like you always need to be aware of that the product that you create is a durable thing, and if it falls apart, then you lose the opportunity of the investor. Yeah. But anyways,
there's actually so many scenarios in the first year or two where this could have been also a dead adventure, like a venture that could have worked out. Imagine if he didn't manage to fix that prototype on time for the investor pitch, or you know, his first product, he said, wasn't as successful as he hoped it would be. So so a lot of things made the venture, despite not having hardware background, successful.
And you mentioned the other thing about his early success and early fundings, which is his family, right? Like his dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before he got I think this is before he got the IDG angel round investment, he did have to put up his own money for prototyping and for the initial development of the idea. And he managed to get together 300,000 RMB, which is 50K? Yeah, 50K USD himself. And half of that is through his past ventures, which is amazing for like a uni grad. And then the other half is supplemented by his dad, who's also an entrepreneur.
Wow, like growing up in a family of entrepreneurs.
Exactly. And then that got him started, and that enabled the series of funding afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, what has he tried? He has mastered the skill set of picture collaging. He has streamed online courses. He had done video advertising. He watched and it got inspired by the panel clip online. And he wants to try the hardware company.
Yeah.
And can I just add a little blurb about the hardware itself? Okay. He started off very particularly. He wanted to create a 360 panel camera. That was his very original idea because he sees this will be the future of a lot of content creating. So the prototype that he has created, also fallen apart on the train, was what we call today a VR or an immersive camera. So that camera, still exists and is still very much in the Insta360 offerings right now, but it is more on the VR and professional line of things. So they primarily have two line of products. One is for the more like VR pro users, and the other one is just for everyday people who are like us. And then the everyday one, he started off by creating 360-degree cameras, which is slightly different from the sports camera that he created later on. And for the 360 camera that he had created, the market size for that is much smaller, actually much smaller than the sport camera market cap.
Yeah.
So one thing to note. And it's about less than half of the size of that. The reason that he started creating a 360-degree camera is because he want a mass market product. He want people to be able to shoot more freely. And then with software, edit it to the way that he, she, or them will like. So I guess that's the beginning of it. And later on, towards the end of 2022, actually 2022 was the first time that he had created an actual hard sports camera that looks like GoPro, which is called the Ace Pro.
Not a 360 sports camera.
Not a 360 sports camera, but just the sports camera itself.
Yeah.
There are two lines. One is the Insta360 One X, and the other one is the Ace and Ace Pro series, and that's the sort of the GoPro Hero alike cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to do more VR stuff in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's why he did the 360 panoramic camera. And then I think the whole niche thing also worked out for them because you have to focus on one thing before the other. But now that they've penetrated that market almost, they surpassed GoPro, I think. And they can now think about different product lines.
Yeah. And so I guess to expand a little bit on that, why did he pick a 360-degree camera to start the business, not a sports camera? He started the company in 2015, and by that time, not only did GoPro already exist for a long time, GoPro is already public at that time. GoPro started in 2002 by a guy, a surfer called Nick Woodman, and he's a pure surfer, loves the ocean. And then the reason that he created that camera is because he wants a shot with the ocean when he's surfing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and by 2014, the company's already public, made a ton of money. And 2015, here comes Insta360. So if they want to compete on the sports camera lane, there is someone very strong that is already in that pathway. So perhaps it could be very costly to go head-to-head in that competition. So I guess maybe he is very good at capturing users' need. He knows that people are struggling with software, exactly the problem that you have described.
Yeah.
So that's when he decided, what if I created a much lighter version of that and make it available for the mass market? And with a lot better software, would people buy that? Yeah. And then it turns out it was great.
Yeah. So the story I heard is that he started with just VR camera, but then he couldn't find like a really good use case because he didn't tie the whole action sport and VR together yet. And so after the initial year, they actually had a product called Nano.
Yes.
Right? And then
that's the first product.
That's the first product. And he would later on call it a failure because the initial... He went to shows and stuff with it, and people were really impressed by how small of a gadget it is and its ability to do 360 filming. But then that's really the early adopters and the enthusiasts.
Absolutely.
So soon after, like after a month or two, the sales begin to dwindle, and he's like, okay, what do we do with it? We don't know who the market is.
Yeah.
We can't educate the user. That takes too long. So he, through a Facebook fan group, started identifying where should this product go next.
Interesting.
And then he realized a lot of the early adopters of the initial 360 camera or sports enthusiasts. And that's how he got into this, maybe there's a GoPro competition
New
kind
PMF.
of thing. Yeah. So he's like, GoPro is doing sports, right? It's targeting sport users, but it doesn't do 360. But then like Samsung and Ricoh, or I don't know if it's called Ricoh.
It's Ricoh.
Okay. So Ricoh are doing 360, but they haven't really found the sports connection.
Right.
So he's like, okay, well, there's a niche there. I think if we just go into this, maybe there's something.
Maybe there's something. But you're right about Nano. Nano is one of those creations where they very much created Nano around iPhone, right?
Right.
Yes, and that's such a highlight for that product. It's kind of a plug and play. I don't know if anyone has seen an actual Nano before, but if you go on to watch the video of that, it's like, and you can see how, like in 2025, you feel like it's pretty vintage, right? It's kind of a attach on, like there's a little plug, and you just like insert on your phone, and your phone immediately becomes a 360-degree camera.
Yeah.
And the best part to Nano isn't really the hardware itself. Like it's
the software.
It's the software, exactly, and solves the problem that you just described. A little basics of how 360 camera works is, it is called a double fisheye camera. A fisheye is normally 180 degree. So double fisheye is when you stitch two 100 degree pictures together. And then the hardware, like you can always put two fisheyes like next to each other.
Right.
But what makes the software good and what GoPro doesn't have at the time is GoPro only takes the photo. The editing or like the blending of the photo is going to be offline and somewhere else.
Yeah.
So GoPro doesn't take care of that. But and this is what JK discovered. And he's like, why don't I just create something, if there's an app that allows people to, with the attachment of the hardware on the iPhone, immediately takes the shot, immediately stitches the photo together, and immediately brings it to Instagram, and bam. And it kind of works out at the beginning. It was a hit in a CES in 2016, but like you said, the sales didn't sustain. Is Nano a good product? It's a cool creation, but it wasn't, 2016 wasn't the year that everyone is so educated about what this kind of photography is. Yeah. So more to be discovered.
And it's like, I think later on they realized that sports and 360 is a good combination, but with an iPhone plug-in, it's not like you bring your iPhone and it's plug in to snowboarding or to surfing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then later on they have to adopt it to the user.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Insta360 is really good at, which is identifying really pain points of the user and spend tons of money in R&D to figure it out. And usually the users would pay the bill.
Yeah.
Because you solve their pain point. Whether it's stitching, which probably less people, I think there might be marketing issues in the beginning as well as people knows about it. But yeah, like eventually and he said if you do this repeatedly over and over again, finding existing markets that are big enough, figure out the pain point and just do it better than everyone else.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, also, because of this particular research, I had an opportunity to reach out to a friend who is an MIT graduate like you, and who also currently works for a hardware company that starts with an A, and he is a lens engineer for this company.
Hardware company that starts with an A.
Okay. And so I was asking him, right, for a camera consumer electronics product, what makes it good? There has to be the hardware bit and the software bit that makes a consumer electronics good. And then the hardware bit, if it's a camera, two things are the defining factors. One is the lenses itself, and two is the sensor. The better the lens, the better function of the camera that it can be at a lower light setting. So like, for example, at night, does it capture well? In a camera design, the lens and the sensor are basically accounts for about half of the price of the entire like camera itself.
Yeah.
And those determined how good of a photo you can actually take. Right. So that's the hardware bit. And on the software bit, you then have to think about, well, obviously, like there's the customer pain points. And in the meantime, if it's a 360-degree camera, then how well can you blend the photos together? Like, can you stitch it up very seamlessly? And especially for a sports camera, stabilization is very important, right? Like you can't be like on a bicycle.
Yeah, apparently they have like a shaking thing at the development center, and they just like shake the thing.
No matter how you shake it, it's going to be well. Yeah. So there's that. So the software, the computational photography, balances out the missing part on the sensor and on the lenses, because you can't always buy the most expensive ones.
Okay, so it's a package where if one is not as good, you use the other to compensate.
Exactly, and consumers are not willing to pay for an extremely good lens or sensor, right?
They're expensive.
They can be expensive. They can be really expensive, like if you buy the Sony ones, right? If you bring the cost down and use the right ones and then bring up the photography level with your software, then you can achieve a balance. And then you're able to deliver something that is very handy, everyone can afford, but at a very good quality. So that's their thinking, which is brilliant. Like, I love it.
Like all software engineers, like computer science folks, consider going into hardware as your potential business, and you have this advantage.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So there he is. Couple years down the line of making Insta360 camera. First product is Nano.
Yep.
Second product is Insta360 Air. And I don't know if you have ever seen that very cute little camera before.
I haven't.
It is a little ball-shaped camera, also a plug-and-play. And then you just plug it onto your phone. It's like a little ball-shaped thing.
Okay.
And it captures 360-degree photos for you.
Oh.
But the only thing that bugs me is that it's round. Like, it looks very chunky. And they're no longer selling it. And then probably...
For a good reason.
Yeah, and I think the engineers probably also realized that reason. It's not like a very smooth attachment. It could fall off anytime. So there's only air, and then they abandoned that. They no longer create any air anymore.
Yeah.
Right after Insta360 Air comes two things. In 2017, they published one product on the professional line of things and one on the consumer level of things. The professional one is a VR camera. It's called Insta360 Pro. And the consumer level product is called the Insta360 One, right? And One is the one that we see right now. It's the slim, long, black.
That's the one I was talking about, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of their like all-time favorite product, right? But it was the first edition of that. It wasn't perfect. And judging by like how often they're like upgrading their products, it really does look like that they're putting so much effort into their R&D. They update Insta360 One almost every year. And on the only year that they're not updating Insta360 One, they create new products. So in 2018, they updated Insta360 One. I'm just going to call it One. It's like too wordy. One had a new version 1X, and that's also when they started this new sort of photo taking strategy called bullet time. A bullet time
Is it the one you swing?
Yes.
Like a rope around you
Yes.
and it feels like you're
Yes.
having... Okay. I love
Which,
that video.
it's crazy. It's when you create a hardware, and JK is such a fun person. He has this, like, I'm just going to try new things, and I want to create a camera like no one created this before. So, and not only did he create the camera, he also created new ways of playing around with this camera, which is bullet time. And so the rope is also actually an Insta360 product as well, because it doesn't fall apart. And then
They have
camera
to...
just fly
The
out.
rope is an accessory they can buy on.
It's a designated rope. It can't just be any rope for safety reasons.
I thought it was just I can just use my belt or whatever and like tie it to the camera.
Yeah.
I really like their... Speaking of this, I really like their accessories. They recently had this like no drone, no problem campaign. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh,
so
interesting.
the accessory is a 3-meter long camera stick, basically.
3 meter
so
long.
when you hold the 360 and it's 3 meter long, it feels like a drone photo.
Oh,
'Cause
that's
it's so
why
high
it
up in the
says
air.
no drone, no
No
problem.
problem, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think it's called no drone, no
Okay.
problem, or no
Jeez.
drone, no something. But
Beautiful.
yeah, and they have creators that does behind the scenes videos to teach people how these works. And they actually pay the creators kind of like your ECPM kind of impression kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you get YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reel like impressions, you get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is way later on, but
Yeah.
really good
They
marketing.
interact with those who play around with the camera a lot. Like, if you're a fun creator, like,
Yeah.
do your thing. I'm going to pay you money
Yeah,
for doing that.
like
Yeah.
swing a thing around yourself and see how that works. Yeah. Did you see the part where they got an eagle? Every
Oh,
year they got an eagle.
That is
so,
my
like,
favorite part.
Yeah.
They have mounted this camera to show how good the camera is with stabilization and how light it is by putting it on eagle, put it on dogs, put it on a lot of animals, and it kind of became a tradition. And it's a great video. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, I heard this in another podcast actually. So they in the employee either WhatsApp or WeChat group, they have this emoji of JK, and it says like protect JK streams. So if he has
Aw.
if he has a wish list or whatever,
Oh my God.
his employees are like, okay, can we do this ego thing? Can we do this
Oh.
ridiculous thing that he just asked us?
This is the best employee-employer relationship.
I
you
know, it's
like
kinda cute.
yeah. And he seems to be a good guy with a lot of crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also I think he said this in an interview. He would like only sleep for 3-4 hours.
That's impossible.
And then if
Jeez.
he gets in the beginning, like maybe series A or B, but then when he gets really frustrated or tired, he would go watch Insta360 videos to cheer him up.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why he's creative for the brand. He just
Exactly.
loves the product
it's
so
it's
much.
it's real love.
Yeah, it's real love. Do you know what product they developed after that?
I have
It can't
no
always be the
idea.
same thing. There has to be something new.
Something in the consumer
Yes.
area.
Yes, something in the consumer area.
Is like not the regular sports camera, not 360.
It is wide angle. It is wide angle. It is not 360, but it's wide angle.
Okay.
If you're the hardware product manager, then after you can always upgrade the same camera, of course. You can
Yes.
always bring it to a next generation. But what other things would you try?
Wide angle,
Yeah.
non-sport use.
It can be sports use. So
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me.
okay, in 2019, they created a new camera, and I bet you have seen this one before. It is so small. It is the size of a thumb.
Oh, the finger thing.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
It is the size of a thumb.
What's it called?
It's called Go.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
And in 2019, that's the only year that they did not upgrade any new
Existing,
product on the
yeah.
One series. That they decided that they're going to take a break, and so Go was produced and is a very small camera. But if you think about a camera that small, the first problem that you think of is, how do I hold this thing, right? It can be attached, but the battery life is also very low. So it is a wide angle camera, but it's not like the all-time favorite. 2 years after 2019, when it's first published, the second generation of Go was updated. And that's when there is a magnetic clip. You can clip it, like right in front of you.
Oh.
And it's a wide angle. It really, like records everything that's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's on the Go camera. And the Ace and Ace Pro cameras are also wide-angle cameras. They're not exactly 360-degree camera.
So I think by 2019-18 is when they started looking at other product lines, right?
Yes.
So that's only 4 years into really like mass production.
Yeah, and 4 years after mass production, they are expanding to very different SKUs. They also developed a modular Insta360 One RS with Leica. In the meantime, so GoPro is also updating. But after sort of careful comparison between the GoPro product updates versus the Insta360 updates, do you know how many new products did GoPro launch like in between 2015 and 2025?
Like 1 or 2? Yeah.
Okay, we were...
Am I on the low end?
No, actually you're right. They only updated, so in terms of the number of different SKUs, they almost didn't do any update.
Yeah.
So GoPro Max was first launched in 2019. So the
Yeah.
camera, the first camera the camera in your series that was created in 2019. And then the second update is going to come up in 2026. So the second generation of GoPro Max hasn't even existed yet.
Yeah, and they killed the desktop
Yeah,
product.
right. And they do have a flagship product called GoPro Hero, which is just the box, right? The original. And that camera updates every single year, but it's just the updated version of the existing camera. They're not creating anything
Like
new
the
to
software updates, they're not doing the hardware.
it. Small changes every
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
While Insta published or like released, I don't know,
Yeah.
10 different SKUs.
Yeah. They have a drone camera called Sphere. They have, like for conference meeting, they have Insta360 Link. They also have gimbal. And if you like diving, they also have like diving fit cameras. And on the
Right.
professional kind of line of things, they also have like the Pro, the Titan. And they have also abandoned products before. There is one camera published a long time ago, 2019. It's called Insta360 Evo, which is a sort of a VR camera for families, not for professionals. They tried so many things.
This is like two very different strategies. It's good that you pointed out like GoPro, because GoPro's strategy, I'm going back to EV, but this is like, you know how Tesla has like
Yeah.
4 models in total, that's their line, right? And GoPro is going to have a few models, right?
Yeah.
A handful of models. Whereas the Chinese counterparts are just really, they're just all in with just different SKUs. Your average EV is like 30, 40 SKUs with minor tweaks or different like target audiences, whereas Insta360 is similar in that perspective. So just very different ways of how companies are looking at this. Like the Insta360 is kind of like, we're willing to risk that maybe a few of our SKUs won't work out, but we're just going to hit you with everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what they did. Like a few things doesn't work out. And I guess for the hardware engineers who are out there, I think this points to a very clear direction of where you should be coming to try new things and work. Maybe come to China.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of new
There's
opportunities.
also, I think, I mean, we didn't talk about how his company's based in Shenzhen, so the cost of development is probably a lot lower over there. It's kind of the hub of electronics manufacturing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So he can just, like, if they have an idea, someone can pick up something next door and, like, run with a prototype the day after.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. They're interesting because we both had raised these questions early on, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, which is, now that you have, like, you're clearly very good at designing products. You're clearly very good at launching different line of products. Why did you not stay in China?
I know the answer from JK.
You shall speak.
But no, I want to hear what your thought is.
I may be very biased. I do think if you're targeting consumer electronics, and especially if you want like sort of sports niche groups to be able to buy, your audience are 100% overseas. Like your audience are mostly like not in China. Well,
Right.
and also given that it was 2015 through 2020, this is a time when the overseas market is already mature and, you know, have lots to offer, and CES is always there, is ready, and when the sports interest group in China has just started. Like
Right.
I can say confidently the sports interest group in China is starting as of now. It's not even like
Yeah,
large
most
yet.
people learned snowboarding like 3 years
Well,
ago.
exactly. That's why you see so many amateurs on a ski resort. Yeah, but you know, like the groups are much bigger and more diverse overseas, and so like if you're developing a product, like launch it on Indiegogo, launch it on Kickstart. Like
Right.
there will be people looking at it, and then they will want to buy it overseas.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. Even if you look at the market share right now, US and EMEA are the majority of their users. The one thing they've quoted, and this is from JK himself and one of the head of marketing, is actually fear.
Oh, fear.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is very surprising, right?
Fear or love? Fear.
Fear of competition within domestic Chinese borders. So if you're developing a hardware in Shenzhen and competing within China, if you list on Taobao, if you list on
Oh,
JD, right? Imagine the competition.
That sounds stressful already.
And imagine the cost war that's going on with every single other segment of consumer electronic or EV. There's a cost war going on everywhere in China because it's a manufacturing hub, right? But then when you market abroad, the competition drastically changes. So out of fear that they decided to start with overseas on the get-go. So it wasn't, you know, let's try to test it with China. It's like, let's try to test it with everyone, expand our potential users as much as possible so that if one country doesn't work out, and they're in, 100, 200 countries now. So if one country doesn't work out, we're diversifying. And that's the reason why they've decided to go with this in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would have knew? Competition.
Yeah, it is quite amazing because Insta360, I definitely have heard of it overseas for the first time. Then I think many years afterwards, I have may have like friends brought it up like somewhere skiing, like, or it was definitely I picked it up overseas first before I heard of it in China.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm the opposite, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because you used
Because
it in
yeah.
China, in a Chinese ski resort.
Yeah.
Okay, in 2022.
Yeah, I've not heard of it overseas.
And then they have actually sponsored the video photography for a lot of major conferences in China,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's just, that's kind of how, like, I don't ski that much, to be honest. I can't fake it. so I wouldn't know how popular they are in the Chinese
they
ski
were
resort.
doing non-sports events, right? They
Right.
were at CCTV, like...
They were doing a lot of indoor activities
Yeah.
with the VR cameras, right?
Yeah.
The annual 2 sessions, and also like during COVID time, the broadcasting of that hospital being put together.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was Insta360.
That was Insta360. Yeah.
So on this note, I think overall they're just really good with partnerships. And that's how with one of the core reasons why I think they really made it abroad was because they had their eyes on the Apple distribution partnership very, very early on. They're one of the first, I think if not like the first 360-degree camera for sure, but maybe one of the first like Chinese companies to have Apple stamp of approval. And once you have that, like distributing globally is no issue because Apple's known for just being very strict on all the QAs and everything, right? So, and they obviously had to go through at least a year of back and forth to make sure like Apple's happy with their product. But once they had that, it's like instantly you're open to 100 different countries and distributors would be happy to carry your product.
Yeah.
Right.
And up until this point, I have only heard of 2 brands who have made successful collaborations. Those are Chinese brands. One is Insta360. One is Anchor.
Oh, and guess what? I think they're the top 2 electronics brand that is going from China to abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
In terms of like sales.
Right. Find the right partnership. that is so
Wow.
crucial for them, I guess, making the channel sales early on. They also had some interesting collaboration with Google before. So there was a year, I think it was 2015. That's probably when the Google Street View, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's Google Street View was probably one of the first like immersive photography project. Also very large scale. It was like everywhere in the world, right?
It's for, I guess, Google Street View, for those of you who doesn't know what it is, it's like a Google Maps project, right?
Right.
Where
right.
they give people who sign up, I don't know how exactly how it works, but you carry like a 360-degree camera either on your car or on yourself, and then you walk around.
Right.
And then you'll capture. That's how you get the street views in Google Maps.
Right, right.
And they probably use more than Insta360.
Yeah, but they probably had a lot of suppliers at the time, but Insta360 was the perfect hardware for them.
Yes.
And they, like Google Street View definitely featured a lot of Insta360 pictures on the early days.
And then they partner with Red Bull, which is an obvious choice, with all the extreme sports.
Right.
I heard they partner with Formula One, but I haven't found any information.
Okay, so
Oh, you found
you are going to love this because there is a video. I discovered that video. GoPro also partnered with Formula One as well. And GoPro had a video with Daniel Ricciardo, and it was just Daniel Ricciardo driving the car very casually.
I need to see this video.
And, showing everyone around the neighborhood. And it's very soothing. It's not like driving F1. It's very stressful. But they're definitely targeting the fans. You can see from the GoPro channel strategy that they have featured all the motorsports, like ski, like skydiving, paragliding, in the water diving, like whatever it is that we're going to feature the best athletes in the world. I do have to say, like from a channel management point of view, GoPro has a more captivating channel, like than Insta360. Doesn't mean Insta360 is not doing a good job with all their partnership relationship. So what we're gonna say is, so for F1, for Ferrari,
You can say it. They're not
okay,
paying
I'm
us.
gonna say
Disclosure.
So they actually put a camera on a Ferrari car. Who's the driver?
Charles Leclerc.
Yes, that's right. And where was the car in?
In Monaco.
Yes.
Oh my god.
You're right.
Yeah, so you think got better deals. Okay, all right.
So I think they're pretty on point, like for the choice of, because Monaco is a difficult place to drive in, like for those who are watching F1.
Yeah.
And they captured, it was kind of just a hot lap that Charles Leclerc is taking you, and you see like how fast it is, and it's not shaky. It's not shaky at all.
Of course.
Yeah, and because with the flow state stabilization technology, right?
Yeah.
But you can see that you're trying to get some attention from the F1 fans who are
Wait,
out
this
there.
is GoPro.
Yeah, this is Insta360.
Insta360.
Insta360 found Ferrari. Yeah, and
And
GoPro found Ricardo.
Okay, so competition there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Insta360 also created some of my favorite commercials, and it is unfortunately, it's not the F1 ones. They do have it's not Paralympics, but it was a athlete called Evan Lalane, suffering from lower body paralysis, and Insta360 featured him trying to, going from being able to walk and do everything to, I'm on a wheelchair every day right now, but I want to skate. I really want to skate. So it was a makeshift sort of wheelchair skate that he was on, and then he put a camera on it, put an Insta360 on it, and it just sounds so impossible, like when you're watching that like very short commercial at the beginning, and it ends with like him being able to travel anywhere fluidly, and with the camera just following him anywhere.
Yeah.
And with Insta360 finally puts the word on it, think bold. I'm like, I'm crying right now. I can't do. It was so great. It was a very good commercial.
It is.
For a minute.
So I guess both companies are just targeting different
the
athletes,
athletic
but the
groups.
same idea. Like
Yeah.
you get the athletes
Right.
who already have a pretty big following to look at the videos, and then they realize, oh, and this camera is cool, this angle is cool. I want to get the gadget.
Yeah, the gadget. Which one of the partnerships or brand ambassadors that you like the most with Insta360?
I actually haven't done too much research.
Okay.
The one that's really famous I heard about is Will Smith.
Well,
Yeah.
And yes, but
obviously nowadays now that you told me about Formula One,
yeah,
Ferrari.
yeah, there is one that you may actually know and like. So,
Oh, who is it?
an American professional snowboarder and a skateboarder. He is a 5-time Olympian and a 3-time Olympic medalist in half-pipe snowboarding.
Oh, Shaun White.
Yes,
Oh,
Shaun
wow.
White. So Shaun White is actually probably the most influential sort of celebrity / athletes that they've worked with.
Yeah.
And Shaun White really liked using Insta360 as well. And he
Yeah.
took it everywhere. And in fact, there was a Shaun White kit at Insta360. It's not like just the pole
What?
like that you can hold up. It's a
Okay.
strap. Like you
I
can wear it,
see.
and then you can put the camera just like right at the center of your chest, and then you can just like do your thing and just be stable, and then
Okay.
just go on the snowboarding slopes.
I'm gonna look this up right
Yeah.
after.
I'm just a huge fan of Shaun White. I don't skateboard, but or snowboarding, but yeah, but he's great.
Yeah, no, none of us can do half pipe, but we like
No.
watching.
I can do half pipe rolling, not so much snowboarding.
Yeah, I can roll my back and roll down the half pipe. Get on my back and just like slide. Cool.
Yeah.
So very good use of celebrities and influencers for marketing on both sides.
Yeah, on both sides. And it's not that there is not competition. There is always competition. Like GoPro is always there. And in fact, today, if people are looking for very durable, like stable sports cameras, a lot of people will still buy GoPro. The market share is still like okay.
Yeah.
But you do see Insta360's innovation is getting a lot more market share than before, and it's growing very rapidly because how fast they innovate.
Yeah. So basically, they started off really making revenue 2016, I want to say. So it's 30 million in 2018, and by 2020 is 120 million US dollars. And that's when they filed the prospectus or the registration. And in 2021, that's 1.8, right? So like 50% growth year over year, not bad. 2022,
It's really good.
yeah, but wait for it. Guess what? 2024, which is like 4 years later, so 750.
750 million.
Which is compared to when they filed the IPO to today,
like-
to last year, it's what, 5-something times?
Yeah.
More than 5 times.
More than
Almost,
5 times in 4 years.
Yeah, and
Wow.
during the 2 years in between, they claim that they almost double every year. 2021, 2022, 2023.
Okay.
By last year, I think is when they reached kind of 60-70% market share in the 360 kind of panoramic camera market, right? They're still not they're still not on the top. I don't know if they're second or third in the action sports camera, but they're the first in 360. And so at this pace, and this year their anticipated growth is another, say, 40%-ish, right?
Remain the
so
same
at this
speed.
pace, whereas if you compare it to GoPro, which is, I guess it's kind of incumbents issue, if they continue at this pace, they might be able to get a majority share in the action market, in the action camera market very soon. So it is a pretty big threat
To GoPro.
to GoPro and to DJI, who's also in the industry. And I think, if I'm getting this number correct, they might already have 80% market share in 360-degree cameras.
Right. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very large player on the 360-degree camera, and sports camera also getting more attention here. And I don't know if you checked the most recent stock price for GoPro. It's not looking very great. And I can imagine this probably reflects how much they're selling, like in terms of their sheer, the like volume of cameras that are selling.
Yeah. But actually, so one thing to know, GoPro is still making more revenue.
Yeah, true.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think GoPro is almost not double, but like 1 point something times the revenue of Insta360. But the profitability, actually in 2023, I think they reported a loss.
Can you imagine, like GoPro, a company that started in 2002, is struggling? Like, yeah. And DJI maybe we'll cover in a different session. Like that is a vastly complicated company that we have to dissect some other time.
Exactly.
With so many different products.
Exactly.
Yeah. When JK say we don't want to compete in China, this is the company that he's talking about. He doesn't want to compete with those people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both in Shenzhen.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're both specializing in like some sort of.
But DJI started way before them, right?
Yes, DJI started way before them. They specialized in drones.
Yes.
Like not the same kind.
They not only specialize in drone, they probably own the drone market globally at this stage.
Yes, different topic. Different topic. So what other interesting things have you captured in the prospectus?
Other than the fact that it took him 4 years, there's also kind of a media fiasco. Like he went on Weibo, like that he went on Weibo to accuse the registry, what's they're called, the regulatory commission, saying that guys, it's been 4 years. Like, hello,
let me go.
Like, should I look elsewhere? Because at that point, his company already grew so much, right? And I guess we didn't cover this before. When he applied, he actually didn't apply for the Shanghai Stock Exchange main board. He applied for the Star Board, which is the kind of the
new tech,
the new tech, lower requirements. And at that point, he already satisfied every requirement on profitability, on growth, on everything, on R&D spending. It's not because of requirement that they temporarily halted their IPO. It's because of a potential insider question, right? That they didn't report on time. But there's different, different sides have different stories. But basically, he said, when I filed this request to IPO, I already satisfy your requirements. 4 or 5 years later, I more than satisfy your requirement.
You said by a lot.
Yeah, in fact, had I been IPO'd, I would be in your top 5 right now.
Exactly.
Top 5% right now. So, like, what's up, guys? There's, like, Hong Kong Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. That's, they can also take my money. So, are you going to take my money?
Right.
So, shortly after this whole, like, media outlet on Weibo, they actually got a response. I don't know if it's because of this.
Yeah, but he got a response.
But like a few months later, they announced that, okay, we have approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's... Anything interesting you've...
Well, so about the rapid growth that they were able to achieve after 2020, according to the declared market share, it seems that the China market was very fast growing, like internally. They may have started outside, but the China market is right now accounts for about half of the sales for them as well, and it's still growing.
Wow.
And followed by the US, and there's also Europe. In fact, I think they're doing really well in some of the countries that Chinese consumer electronics brands are just not able to achieve the same results, like the US and Europe. So I think there's just more people like who are out there with sports and athletic equipment's use, like who are in those markets.
I also attribute it to them thinking about the global market early, because I think they started expanding, like as soon as the company set up, they started setting up overseas entities. And the first few years, they're actually not doing that well because they need to hire locally. They need to figure out, as a Chinese company with, only folks, and he never studied abroad or anything, right? And
Which is crazy.
His founding team never did. So establishing like a U.S. company and selling your products and really resonating with the U.S. audience is actually quite difficult.
Right.
But because he had 4 or 5 years to work on this, it's when, 2019, 2020 hit that they managed to pull this off.
Yeah. And can I just tell something from my personal experience? So I was in CES in last year, so 2024. And
how'd you get the ticket?
Well, so it is work that I get the ticket. So out of the 4,000 some attendee brands were there, about a quarter of them are from China. And so Insta360 was one of the very few brands who actually have a very international crew at the stand. But the other brands are not doing the same. The other brands mostly have Chinese representing them. I guess on the internationalization of the brand, you can't just sell your brands to the market. You actually have to have a relatively international crew to be able to be a global company, to be able to have all the interesting audiences. So another takeaway. And also, like, if you look at on the prospectus at the back of the list with all the company sort of partnerships, you do see a lot of like non-Chinese names as listed, which
like
is
Apple
pretty rare.
And,
They go out of the way to do these collaborations, and some of the shareholders are also non-Chinese as well. Why do we think Insta360 ascended or maybe Ascent?
Yeah, I've listed a few though. Do you maybe okay? So the first one obviously is that he's a genius and he doesn't need to sleep. You have like a
physically better,
but like from the very beginning of this show, we talked about his early ventures. So it kind of you know this guy is going somewhere, right? Like the amount of ventures or the amount of entrepreneurship stuff he did even before graduating from university. So anecdotally, it says for the first 6 months that they're developing a product, he does like the team sleeps 3 to 4 hours a day. And the Series 8 and Series B, it was told that they signed both contracts with the investors on Chinese New Year's Eve. And living in China, you know, nobody works on Chinese New Year's Eve, right? For them to sign 2 contracts in 2 different years, it means they're working hard. They're
work ethics.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like that's entrepreneurship work ethics. Yeah. It's number 1. What's your number 1?
Well, I'm going to go back to the very cliche kind of the right person at the right time just happened to be doing the right thing. I think he's the right person. When you look at his video there was a very short video of him after he graduated from college on YouTube, and he didn't even start at Insta360 at that time. But you can just see something in his eyes that is different. The way that he talks is so composed, is so calm, and he is probably just 18 or 19 tops. But the thing that he says about like building a startup sounds like as if he has been through decades of business, like how he wanted to, you know, trust people, what kind of products that he wants to build. It just, like...
You have a belief.
He's very sophisticated, and he has a belief, for sure. So there's that. Like, he just oozes a different vibe than a lot of other people. And then he's not doing this very lightly. He has an intention of doing it as well. Yeah. So that's number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to add to your point, actually, I think his co-founder, who actually did the live streaming business with him, said that, you know, this guy is someone you're willing to follow, you know, because you have that charisma, you have that leadership.
The determination of doing something.
And the ideas,
So
my second one is actually, I attribute the success of Insta360 these days to the fact that they've decided back in 2015, 2016 to have global market as their user base rather than the domestic market. And having that ambition and having that decision makes a big difference. Target globally.
Yeah. If he has started in China, not sure if he can survive.
Yeah. Not sure if I can survive, and also not sure if he would get the market share that he has today.
Yeah. For sure. I guess my second point is he had no hardware experience, and I think he may have went through a thinking process of he likes content. Like, obviously he likes watching videos, and he likes the content, and he somehow maybe projects the future of camera and of our eyes, how we'll be, you know, posting things on social media will not be very 2D'd. So he wanted to create a tool for people to use to make better photography possible. So I think that was a very bold move, and because he was in China, the ability, he was able to realize that in Shenzhen at a relatively reasonable cost,
Yeah.
that the product can be created.
Yeah.
Like, so it is a bold move, but with all the resources and the conditions with Shenzhen, everything was made possible. So right move on him.
So I agree with half of that. So the Shenzhen part I agree with. The fact that he is at the cost center of lower cost of production. I'm not sure if it was that bold of a move. Maybe in the first 2 years while they're figuring out the market. But by the time they realize that I'm going to compete with GoPro Max, I'm going to do this 360 and target the sports enthusiasts. At that point, I feel like the market is there. He knows the market is there, and that's why he went in. It's not going in blind anymore. Right. And so it's more calculated than you think. Obviously, there's still a risk of, how can I get my brand out versus, an established brand, or DJI at that point also has a fair presence. So how do I compete against these giants? How do I compete against Samsung? But the target audience is definitely already there. Third point, which is actually just partnerships in general, because I think it's just leveraging other folks. He knows, I guess, how to approach, or the company basically made some right decisions in terms of, yes, Apple is really hard to partner with as a hardware company. They're quite stringent. And so they probably spend a lot of cost in terms of developing the product for Apple, because I think there's a story around how Nano, because of the 3.5 millimeter jack, has to actually release itself when it's hit with a 10 kg force or something along that lines, right? So it's like Apple, I need to make sure all my products satisfy this criteria, and for any hardware producers to make that, it's difficult. They have to tailor toward that one need, and it probably took them a few months, or I'm just guessing it probably took them a while to satisfy that one criteria. And I'm guessing Apple probably had a couple. So for them to actually go through with this takes a lot of determination.
Yeah, but this makes so much sense, right? So because you want to be making friends that can potentially uplift you. Right, like partnerships that can make you go up, like partners, especially business partnerships. Right, you don't want to be making a friend that's with its impact or with its awareness much lower than you. If that's the case, then you want someone that is much larger than you. And Apple, even though everyone knows that this is the hardest friend to make, but they still try to make it, shows determination, and ends up having the great partnership, and ends up lifting them to such a good sales record for the first couple of years. So it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, so that determination to get the right partnerships.
Yeah, I agree. And my third one, as you have already mentioned before, is at the right place, starting in China. Make it in China, but sell it overseas. That's a great plan.
Yeah, and at the right time, too, because 2016 is when VR was a thing. I think the Google glasses, not glasses, the cardboard.
Right.
And
what's it called? The Dream? Daydream.
Daydream. Yeah.
That was the name.
And there's also a lot of investors. That was before the Chinese investment funding dried up.
Yeah, that was the high time of VC investment.
Exactly. Yeah. So timing is also very important.
Yeah. Without IDG and without Li Feng, who was the mastermind behind behind all of their growth and giving them money, this wouldn't have happened. And one thing about Li Feng, he's very interesting. Maybe there will be in the future episodes, maybe we'll mention him again. He had invested in a lot of companies before.
Give me some names.
Sanzhi Songshu.
Oh!
Yeah, he invested in that, which is
that's very different.
It's not
tech
company.
at all.
Yeah, it's not tech.
Macadamia, nuts.
Nuts, basically nuts. And he invested in Bilibili.
Okay.
Yeah. He has invested in
YouTube
Unity.
Unity, gaming.
Yeah, he has invested in that. And he has also invested in Coinbase. And he has also invested in Dida, which is a carpooling app
I used
that
it before. Yeah.
started with 2 Googlers. They used to work
Oh,
for Google.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, everything comes in full circle.
I know. It's like
Yeah,
the person you should know around that time if you need investments.
yeah, for sure.
Wow.
If you are also interested in Insta360 and you have heard of their stories before, feel free to leave us messages or comments, but
Mhm.
it's been a very fun process researching for the company.
Definitely. And if we got anything wrong, please just let us know because
Yeah.
obviously this is all internet research. Yeah, let us know and we'll correct it next episode.
You can't hold me back. Rise up to the top.